Welcome to Wisconsin in Focus. I'm JD Davidson. The housing market has been an issue around the country for several years. Prices are rising, inventories falling, and more recently, interest rates are going up. All of that's made it even more difficult for the average person to find affordable housing just about anywhere in the country. In Wisconsin, the story is the same. That leaves those first-time home buyers struggling to reach that dream of owning a home. Joining us today is Ben Yount, Wisconsin contributor for the Center Square. Ben, a new report from the Wisconsin Realtors Association painted a picture of real estate in the Badger State. What did it say?
There are homes available to buy. Not a lot of them, but there are homes available to buy, but they're much more expensive than they used to be. And that trend doesn't seem like it's going to slow down. This is one of these stories where it reads a little easier than talking about it because it's got a lot of numbers, and we generally aren't good with math in our head. But the report, this is for March. Again, a snapshot. Winter is generally not the time that a lot of people move in Wisconsin. So March, the beginning of the spring, you start to see people say, okay, we got to upgrade, we got to downgrade, we got to move, we got to whatever. March home sales jumped 3.2% compared to March from last year. Now, a 3% increase in home sales is good. You want more people buying homes, but there was a 10% increase in the median price of a home. The median price is now just under $300,000, which prices an awful lot of people out. And this number, by the way, 300,000, that is before all these spring property assessments are going out. And you're seeing community after community with double-digit increases in their property assessments. 17% on average in Milwaukee. And Milwaukee has some very, very, very inexpensive homes. So these numbers are going up all the way. Supply seems to be the problem. This is basic market economics. If you don't have a lot of something, you can sell it at a higher price. And the supply of homes for sale and the supply of new homes in Wisconsin continues to lag. And that plus higher interest rates is just sort of a brick on home sales. There are a lot of people who would love to buy a new home, move to a bigger house, move to a smaller house, but they don't want to pay as much as they would. Sure, they'd get more money for selling their house, but they then have to turn around and plow all that back into a newer home. And with high interest rates, it could be much more expensive than what they're getting out of.
It creates such a domino problem throughout the country, not just Wisconsin, because I would guess at least in the Midwest, those numbers from the Wisconsin Realtors could be duplicated in Illinois, Ohio, Minnesota, Indiana. So you have a small inventory, which means you got to build more houses. You build more houses, well, prices for everything are up now. So you've got inflation to deal with. So those costs are going up. You can't buy a new home. So you're going to rent. Now landlords are having to pay more, rents more. It's a never ending cycle, it seems, to be able to get into that home and then throw on interest rates, which, 10 years ago, people were getting homes for 3%, less than 3% interest rates. Now it's near 8%.
Yeah. Look, you draw a triangle from Green Bay down to Madison, over to Milwaukee, and then sort of back up the lake to Green Bay. 2/3 of the state of Wisconsin lives within that triangle. There are essentially two places where people really want to live, and that's the Madison area and the Milwaukee area. And so you take all of those things that you talked about. There's not enough new homes. The price of an existing home is even more expensive. Landlords aren't selling because they're making twice what they would be getting in normal times. Well, you want to rent a house? It's $4,000 a month. Pay up, and somebody will. When you have such focused growth in only two areas, it really does put a strain on the housing market in those two areas in particular. Look, you can go to parts of western Wisconsin. You can go up north to Rhinelander, and for $300,000, you could find a pretty nice house. You start to look in the WOW counties. You start to look in Metro Dane County. And $300,000 is going to get you a starter home. And look, for older folks who just want to have the house, okay. But if you're, in your mid-20s, early 30s, with your starter job, your starter salary, the idea of a starter home at $300,000 is daunting. And then you add that, you're exactly right. I mean, interest rates are you're 8%. You can always refinance the house when the interest rates improve. But man, to have to swallow a $300,000, $350,000, $400,000 home just to get into something, that's a big bite. And the Realtors report noted that it doesn't look like interest rates are going to come down anytime soon. They're talking not even in the entirety of 2024, maybe 2025. But, this is something that has been a problem for a while. And this is something that the Realtors believe is going to be a problem for a while to come.
Do they offer any thoughts on, I hate to use the word solution, but to a remedy or how to kind of, and I hate to say even write this, but to make it a little more palatable for people?
I think that in general, what it is you have to have more homes to sell. That they talk about inventory and 2.9 months worth of inventory on the market. The standard is 6 months. Now, I don't sell homes, so I have no idea what that means in real terms. But what it means is that we have half the number of homes that the realtors say we should have to have a healthy housing market. That when you have half the inventory, the price is going to be twice what it is. That's the beauty of supply and demand. So yeah, you want to build more homes, but this gets to a whole other bunch of, okay, where? Are you going to tear down older homes in existing neighborhoods? Well, that can happen, but that's not cheap. You get to the WOW counties, you get to Metro Madison, and there's an awful lot of land that's been snatched up to build either new homes, new apartments, or just new office buildings, new technology centers. The Madison area, the Dane County area, is the fastest growing part of Wisconsin. And as more people come to UW-Madison, love the state, want to stay, the footprint of Madison continues to go out and out and out. Then you run into issues of, okay, well, how much more farmland do we need to give up? The big trend recently in the WOW counties has been to build luxury apartments. You can put a couple of hundred apartments on the same plot of land that you could get maybe a couple of houses. And, the way to make the land pay in the suburbs is to go up, not go out. And if you've got people paying $2,100 a month for rent, but you've got 600 of them in an apartment complex, that makes a developer a lot more money than selling a home for $400,000 one at a time.
Yeah, I'm sure this story's not going away. Ben, thanks for joining us today. Listeners can keep up with this story and more at thecentersquare.com.
Attention parents, teachers, and taxpayers. Do you care about the decisions being made in K-12 public education? Do you want to know how those decisions impact your students and school district? Chalkboard News has you covered. We're delivering fact-based reporting on the policies that shape school safety, curriculum, and recovery from learning loss. At Chalkboard News, we're cutting through the politics and focusing on the facts behind the issues impacting students, teachers, and families. Get this news delivered to your inbox for free by signing up at chalkboardnews.com.